These riots in the United States now seem to be inflamed by Democrat politicians, the hypocrites. Because do you remember how Democrats for years beat up a single protest in Washington at the Capitol by Donald Trump supporters 3 years ago as an insurrection? Wicked! People jailed for years, even though it was overwhelmingly peaceful, except for when police shot dead one protester. But now, look at Los Angeles, the violence there, with protests spreading to many other cities. Look at the violence against legal attempts by an elected federal government to send just some of America's 11 million illegal immigrants, 11 million, back home. You look how the rioters are flying the Mexican flag as they attack American law enforcement. You would think the Democrats would be consistent and announce this as a real insurrection. Instead, here's one Democrat politician, the deputy mayor of Ventura, just out of Los Angeles, yesterday standing with the Los Angeles mayor and encouraging people to fight federal law enforcement.
I had never thought in my life that I would be seeing this sort of disruption and this sort of terrorism attack on our citizens, on our community, on our residents, our friends, and leave our people alone, because we will fight and we defend them.
And here is California's governor, Gavin Newsom, telling Americans essentially to rise up against the elected Trump government, which is only doing what past Democrat presidents have done, sending illegal immigrants home.
Democracy is under assault before our eyes. This moment we have feared has arrived.
This is so dangerous and so hypocritical, and I wonder why so few journalists call it out. But I suspect most Americans watching do see the hypocrisy and do see these dangers, as some polls suggest, and Donald Trump's White House has now released a powerful video to make Democrats pay for whipping up these riots. Here's Trump's ad. Nope. Well, we haven't got that. I was joined earlier from Los Angeles by Sky News host Peter Stefanovic. Peter Stefanovic, thank you so much for joining us. These protests, they started on Friday. What happened today?
Well, it was another eventful day here, Andrew. It started as a quite small, very small, peaceful protest outside the Federal Detention Centre, which had really been a focus for protesters and police, for that matter, over the past few days. And everything just eventuated from there. So a small protest turned into a huge march that involved hundreds, if not thousands, of protesters who are against the immigration tactics of the Trump administration, and they were showing support for those immigrants who work here. And then all of a sudden it just escalated dramatically, because this was before the curfew had come into effect. The curfew is in place now, but it was before the curfew had come into effect. And the march had basically caused traffic gridlock. It had shut downtown LA down, and the LAPD had quite frankly had enough of it, so they came in with so much force. Hundreds of police officers would be my best estimate. They were on horseback. They were firing rubber bullets. They were launching those flash grenades that we've seen a bit of in the past few days, and cleared out the protesters indeed outside Town Hall, and reduced them to about 20 in the end, and they were rounded up and just arrested. So all of that happened in the space of an hour, Andrew. It was an extraordinary afternoon.
Now, I'm interested by you saying, that was the Los Angeles police doing that, because Democrats have been saying that the protesters are being provoked by Donald Trump. They're putting it on him, provoked by him, calling in the National Guard and the Marines. How many National Guardsmen and Marines did you actually see today?
So that's interesting that that's being said, because, I mean, I've seen countless times, Andrew, over the past few days now, of protesters getting right up in the faces of those members of the LAPD, and they've stayed quite calm, and they're hurling all kinds of insults at these police officers who are really just trying to do their job and what they're instructed to do. And I just keep thinking to myself, man, you've got it coming here. You're asking for trouble, and indeed that's what eventually happens. But the LAPD's really been taking control of things here over the past 24 hours anyway. We have seen members of the National Guard. I would say only a few dozen of them outside that federal detention facility earlier today. There's also the Marines who are here as well. But according to the authorities, they haven't been needed yet. They haven't been dispatched, not at an official level. They are around. They're undertaking some training, I understand, because they're not officially allowed to arrest people. They can detain, but they can't arrest. But I've got to say, the LAPD has been driving it. And this is something that the LA Mayor, Karen Bass, has said in recent days. Her main argument against Donald Trump has been, look, I've got this. The LA Police Department is more than capable of doing it. Governor Newsom had said the same thing, but Trump came in anyway with the extras, with the National Guard and with the Marines too. But his argument is, look where we are now. You're too slow to do anything, so I'm forcing it upon you. But it's just that those extra layers of security haven't been needed yet.
Boy, it really seems to be one of those things where everyone sees what they want to see in this. They've got alternative realities depending on which tribe they belong to. And it was really driven home to me by one of the protesters you interviewed today. Here is Eduardo.
No one's illegal. They deserve to have like a fair American dream. There's no looting, there's no violence.
So, Peter, no one is illegal, not even illegal immigrants are illegal, and there's been no looting and no violence. Is that really the case?
Yeah, and I had to pull him up on that. Yeah, I mean, and he had to concede in the end that there has been some, although he hasn't seen it. There's clearly been violence. There's clearly been looting. There's pictures of it. There's video of it. And even today, Andrew, when we were walking with the protesters on that march, I mean, you could see dozens of people who had their faces covered and they were spray painting public property. They were spray painting the sides of buildings, on walkways, etc. So, I mean, you're right. People see what they want to see.
And where is this going? Because what is the next flashpoint? Is it Donald Trump marking the 250th anniversary of, what is it, the Army or something coming up?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's a really good point, and that will be the focus this weekend, Andrew. It'll be this Saturday, our time, so that'll be on your Sunday. But basically, it's the 250th anniversary of the Army, which also coincides with Donald Trump's 79th birthday, which also coincides with these mass protests that had already been planned before these current protests had taken place. So people are being encouraged all across the United States, not just in California, but other states as well, have been encouraged to protest against the Trump administration, to protest against what he's doing. So it could well be this melting pot of various storylines that take place here on the weekend, and who knows what that could lead to, Andrew.
Oh, okay. Look, you're absolutely correct, Peter. And I noticed that Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, Democrat, was already suggesting or implying that the parade, the big parade that's been planned for the Army, was in fact to mark Donald Trump's birthday, like he was some sort of dictator calling in the Army to celebrate him. This has got a lot of legs in it. Peter Stefanovic, thank you so much for your time.